with agents has really taken off. So, excited to really hook Morpheus into that in 2025 with everything that's going on. So, yeah, let's see. Oh, there's Kyle. Let me get him added in. Cool. And Anton, thanks for adding the recording. Cool. Well, I think that's going to be everybody. So we can go ahead and kick off. Just want to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hope you guys all had time with family and friends, get a good rest. But I think it's going to be a pretty incredible year. Everything we've been dreaming about the last 2 years is sort of coming to fruition with this wave of agents, which is great for Morpheus. With every agent that is created, regardless of where it launches, adds to the network effect of Morpheus, right? I'd like to remind people Morpheus is for all agents, right? It's built to empower them with capital, with code, with compute resources via the routers and the other infrastructure that Morpheus has created. So the more the merrier. Like this is perfect for what Morpheus needs to create this new internet of agents, right? And be the infrastructure that ties it all together. So yeah, the timing's great, and been working with a lot of other maintainers and community members to put together sort of the roadmap from the community for 2025. And so after we get off the call today, I'll be pushing publish on that on X. So check that out. But big thanks to Kevin for helping on the diagrams and visuals, for all the feedback from Anton and Bo and Kyle and everybody else. So yeah, excited to kind of kick off the year right. But Kevin, you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah, it's been a good couple weeks, holiday weeks, but as David mentioned, just thinking about how do we connect all of the components that Morpheus has to offer, the tokenomics, compute, capital, all the existing code in the router. How do we bring that together to spawn agents in 2025? And so I think there's been a lot of good thinking as well as just kind of continuing to maintain connections with a lot of builders who are anticipating the launch of builder rewards and asking questions about how to engage in Morpheus from that perspective. It's been a good week. Yeah, and I'm excited for the forward-looking roadmap piece to get released in the coming days.
Yep, definitely. So Kyle, you want to talk to us about all things compute? I know you've been working on some new integration.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more, David, on uh, more agents, no matter where they're built, as huge network effects and really all positive to Morpheus. You know, a rising tide lifts all boats here, and especially when you're so plugged in to providing the ecosystem to support them. So I think that's a good take, and I agree with it. On the compute side, I have been working with integrating Akash with Morpheus from a both consumer and provider standpoint. So I've successfully launched a Docker container with the proxy router, hosted that Docker container on Akash, hosted a separate Docker container with an LLM on Akash, and connected them together to be a compute provider on the compute node. So that's a lot of words to say that we have a proof of concept with Akash as a provider. And that was kind of an MVP where I'm looking to further develop the Docker container a little bit so that we could have a one-click install where someone could go into Akash, see the Morpheus template, click launch, and you're either a provider or a consumer interacting with the Morpheus node. So it's a big win for us, and we're gonna keep iterating and keep bringing on new integrations as the days go on.
Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, I mean, Akash has been an awesome member of the Morpheus ecosystem. They've sponsored a lot of the decentralized AI events and are I think, really leading a lot of the work that's being done to host AI compute So glad to see them integrated into the Morpheus router in a way that's going to make it easy for people to pick them as an option. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the whole thesis here, right? I heard somebody describe it well as Morpheus is like 1 inch for compute, right? It finds the cheapest GPU with the best intelligence available across these different networks, right? And so it makes it easy for a developer literally just to hit one API, one node, and get the best access across all these platforms, which is huge for agent builders, right? Who don't necessarily have the time to go up the learning curve on each of these platforms. So appreciate you doing that,
Absolutely.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
like using Akash compute in the Morpheus node is a win-win. It's great for Akash, it's great for Morpheus, and it's great for consumers who want to find the lowest cost compute. So it's not a zero-sum game. It's really beneficial for everyone.
Yep, 100%. Cool. Well, that's great, man. Bo, you want to jump in here? Congratulations on the integration with UnoCoin. I know you worked really hard to push that across the line.
Yeah, so they're listed now, and that'll hopefully a lot of work from a lot of people on that, but hopefully that will help spark some activity over in India, and then also other exchanges to follow suit. I have had conversations with a couple of other exchanges. Um, Still, a lot of them are reaching out, looking at us as a project, more similar to other projects where there might be a treasury or VC funding or somebody to actually fund a capital pool. That is one of the features of Morpheus, not a drawback of Morpheus, that we do not have that because all adoption is organic, which is really great. But I think that's going to continue. My focus heading into 2025 right off the bat is continuing to go after companies and other projects who are already using GPT wrappers, ideally people who are already using open source GPT wrappers, to try to onboard them in the demand side of Morpheus Compute. It seems like we have a lot of great work being done and a lot of supply on the compute side, and now looking for that demand to kind of round out the flywheel effect is my main focus.
Cool, man. Appreciate your hard work on that. Yeah, great shout out to the Uno Coin exchange. I think they were the first exchange in India to list Bitcoin and other crypto assets, and they're the ones that won the Supreme Court case in India to keep bank accounts open for Indian exchange. So really OG group that did the heavy lift there, and so great to see them adding Morpheus. I think they did it through an integration with Fireblocks, so if any other exchanges listen to the recording and are looking to integrate more tokens, it looks like the easiest way for those using Fireblocks as a custodian is to go through their rails to list Morpheus. So good to see Morpheus included there. I know a lot of mid-tier exchanges tend to use Fireblocks infrastructure. So yeah, shout out to the Fireblocks folks as well as Unicoin for putting that all together. So yeah, that should definitely unlock more players to get access. So very cool. Um, I know Luke had a conflict, so he's out on a family thing today. For him, you know, big thanks for all the cool videos he's been doing. There's a ton of value to making it easy for people to see and really kind of experience Morpheus by just doing these walkthrough videos. So I think he's killing it on that front. So also shout out to the people that have been sort of building awareness in like mainstream media. So cool to see that insider um, article come out talking all about smart agents based on some of the interviews and quotes. So I think that was really cool. Got a bunch of reach out after that. People wanting to do more podcasts and interviews about smart agents. So yeah, I think Morpheus has done an amazing job of meetups and all these DAI events. And definitely heavily active on socials. And it's cool now to see, sort of more traditional media catching up with what's going on in the crypto world. So yeah, good to see that coverage because I think that's like the air game to what Morpheus has been doing on the ground game with in-person events. So definitely helps to have both. So, the traditional media can pull new people into the ecosystem and what's happening, and then you can educate them about what's getting built. So yeah, but just to give credit there. So yeah, other than that, I think from Ryan mentioned a bunch of upgrades coming to the router and cover some of what's being built in this article. It's about to come out. Why Morpheus matters in 2025. The year subnets meet agents, I think, is really interesting juxtaposition. What we're seeing with BitTensor and virtuals and all these projects, and how Morpheus really sort of brings all these different pieces together is really exciting. So anyway, I think that's probably about all it for updates. If anybody has items they want to bring up that they want to talk about with another maintainer, feel free to jump in if you guys have open items. Otherwise, we'll
Da-
call it. Yeah, go
David,
ahead.
can you give a quick update on builder rewards?
Sure. Builder awards. The contracts have been deployed onto mainnet, both on Arbitrum and on Base. It looks like most of the builders are talking about using Base, so I kind of think of that as like the default. Also, if you look at the network effects, that's where Virtuals is. That's where a lot of the AI agent stuff is happening, is really heavily on Base. So my expectation is most people are going to end up starting that, but it's compatible as Morpheus always is across different chains. But the next step, now that the coding, the audits are complete, the deployment of the smart contracts on chain, the multi-sig will do a claim of the tokens that have built up in the contract. It'll deposit that into a builder's treasury address, and that's when rewards will activate. Right. The long pull in the tent right now is definitely the dashboards. The expectation is the developers will have the dashboards done around the 15th, so that people will easily be able to see the different builder subnets and be able to stake more tokens towards them and support those subnets. So that's coming up. The expectation is about 2 weeks. So that'll be like the last piece so that people can really easily access who are the builders, how can I support them, which ones can I stake towards, what rewards are they offering, right, to people to stake towards them. The same goes for actually the dashboards on compute are expected a little bit sooner, potentially uh, late this week, early next week, is a very similar interface where you can see all the compute subnets that have been launched and then be able to stake towards them, right, with your more tokens and earn rewards from that. So those are sort of the next things to drop. The dashboards first for compute and then the dashboards for builders. And I think that's the time to really, emphasize it to community, is when there's that easy one-click way to participate, because the smart contracts, right, obviously are a much higher bar of technical proficiency to be able to do these steps. So it looks like it's coming together around the 15th. So keep updated for like exact dates, but that's the expectation right now. So can't wait to see those go live, because as Kevin was saying, like those are the last pieces of the flywheel, right? Capital's live, code is live, compute's live, but this will make it easy for people to participate and stake towards compute providers. And then the last piece is builders, right? You unleash all those builders that want to earn rewards on Morpheus. Will be able to start collecting those, and anybody in the community will be able to direct their more towards them. So yeah, last pieces falling into place. Perfect timing for this agent wave. And so, yeah, can't wait for that. We're only a couple weeks out.
Super exciting.
Yeah, man. Great question though. So, but let's see. Other than that, I think that's sort of the next big things. Also looking at deploying the compute contract potentially on base, and that would also be part of making it easy for agents to use compute via base. The contracts are entirely the same between Arbitrum and Base, right? They're all both Ethereum EVMs. So it's really
Yep.
just a matter of redeploying, updating a few parameters. So hopefully that's another thing. Maybe, Kyle, you can certainly speak to that, but in the coming weeks, really sort of set Morpheus in a position where it's tapping into the strongest user bases that we're seeing pop up, and those are definitely on base. So good to see. That's I think also another important milestone.
Definitely, definitely. Though I think over the next week or two, those conversations will progress to a point that we'll figure out the best way to launch that. But good
Yep.
call out.
Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, those are the next things in the hopper. And yeah, I mean, anybody can test it on chain right now when it comes to becoming a builder. And as the dashboards open up and the treasury address gets its more deposited, then rewards will go live, and the whole thing will start. The flywheel will start running. So yeah, can't wait for that. Cool. Any other questions or topics you guys want to cover today? All right. Well, good catching up. Glad to jump on. Happy New Year, everybody. And yeah, let's go have an incredible 2025.